It's Wednesday, that means it's time for the weekly, except last week, DeFi review. Going to start with Bitcoin dominance like I always do. This is a barometer, a weather vane. How are alts doing? Well, let's see. Let's look here. Bitcoin dominance has gone from 62 to 71% over the past month and a half. It's emerged from its cocoon of the falling broadening wedge, something that you don't see hardly ever in crypto. But if you're a fan of TA on the dominance, then it was projecting, this pattern is bullish. Falling patterns are bullish, rising patterns are bearish. So this was a bullish pattern, bullish reversal pattern. And we did have the bullish 5200 cross, the retest of the 200. Anytime dominance has been above 200, the 200-day moving average, alts have done not so well compared to BTC. And alts are doing so terribly against BTC that I'm not even going to look at the BTC charts for this video. So if you're trying to stack sats, longing alt pairs may not be the move. This is not investment advice until BTC decides to consolidate, because right now it's just, it's all-time highs every day for BTC. It's just push, 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 push. And alts can't even get a footing on the BTC pairs. If we look at the DeFi perp, just some index with DeFi stuff in it, we see a lot of what I'm going to talk about on some of these charts. Sort of inverted head and shoulders. You can see 3 lows here. You can see a clear horizontal here. So there are a lot of inverted head and shoulders charts. Some have already broken out, like DOT. Some are yet to break out, like Uni. And this has been bullish on MAs since mid-November. So the expectation is bullish continuation, even though it's extremely rangy. It does look like a lot of these charts are ready for higher highs past a key resistance level. Link USD not being one of them, another sort of weather vane for alts right now. Link has gotten smashed, and the BTC pair, rest in peace, the BTC pair, because man, it is catastrophic devastation on that chart. But for now, on the USD pair, it is holding the pitchfork established since 2019. Buy zone is in the blue down here, sell zone up here, and then this is the expected range, which it held rather nicely throughout November, and most of its life, really. Most of this trend is arguably held in the brown zone. So to me, in a vacuum, this is a buy zone for Link. Another reason it's a buy zone for Link is because if we look at the MA multiplier, this is the 183 MA. This is the 3x multiple, I believe. And you can see it sort of picks the highs, and it definitely has picked the lows quite well historically. So the idea is you DCA into the position in the green zone, DCA out of the position in the red zone. All the more reason to, like me, like what I've been doing, I buy $250 worth of Link every so often, kind of every other day, something like that. Not much, very small potatoes, just DCA, right? Don't care, just keep buying, just based on technicals. If you believe in technicals and you see this chart, you got to think to yourself, okay, maybe time. As much as I don't like Link, it may be time. Here's AAVE on the daily chart, Binance, and it's up 10,000% on the year. So, I don't really know how much more it has in the tank in the moment, but it is very near all-time highs, pushing all-time highs above the 200, above the daily cloud. This looks bullish. It all looks bullish. Some people might even argue a massive cup and handle thing. I don't know. Even here's a nice cup and handle situation, sort of exactly where you'd expect it to be. So your entry is going to be higher highs, basically, if you're trading this, breakout trading this. So anything above 95 is a stop limit or stop market order. RSI coming down nicely, which is what you want to see if we're consolidating. So AAVE looks good, honestly. Here's Uni on the 6 hour, and it is above the 200 period moving average. It does have a bit of a bearish divergence here, but overall the main thing I'm looking at is this head and shoulders situation. You get a series of lower lows, and then you get a series of higher lows. May even get a third or a second higher low here, but it looked convincing enough today for me to actually pull the trigger on buy here on this chart based on this pattern, with the expectation of 488 to 535 based on the measured move and the 1618 fib from high to low. So I think Uni looks good as far as bullish reversal is concerned, and or just ready to come out of consolidation. SNX had quite the past 2 weeks here, just a massive move to all-time highs, Hasn't quite hit this measured move 1618 target on this falling wedge, but it's well on its way to 1050 to 1250 basically. And if I was trading this, I'd probably watch it on lower time frames, look for a better entry than here, but it does look fairly bullish overall, especially compared to some of this other stuff that's just ranging like this. You know, are you going to buy something that's pushing all-time highs, or are you going to buy something that's in a 2-month range and looks like it's going nowhere, that's pump and dump twice? So to me, UMA is just a no trade for a very long time here. It's basically got to break 6 or 10 for me to even think about trading this, just because it's just ranging here for so long. YFI, a lot of lines on this chart, but they all illustrate one thing, and that's the high likelihood of bearish continuation here. Bearish reversal, my bad in this case. So previously we had the head and shoulders, broke down, descending triangle, broke down, bullish divergence, reverse, bearish divergence, pause, and over the past few weeks, we've been establishing a new head and shoulders, arguably with the same neckline as before, which is always interesting. But now there's a ton of volume up here, historically, and price is below all that. It's ready to break below the neckline and or possibly already has done so, depending on how you want to draw this. It's got a bearish 5200 cross, and it's below or sitting on the monthly pivot support right now. So this is a big level for YFI. And I definitely expect a retest of like 14K if this breaks down. I mean, VPVR is there. The 1618 measure move is there for the head and shoulders. And there's even a monthly pivot there. So plenty of confluence across all the TA there. Oh, by the way, it's also below the daily cloud or the 4-hour cloud. So none of that looks good for YFI if you're bullish there. Comp, again, kind of like UMA. It's trending up. It looks better than UMA, but it's really a no trade for me. It's just all over the place. I have no idea what's going on here. It's bounced on the 200 period moving average, so it looks like it's fine, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with that chart. It's all over the place. 136, 152 looks like the key volume levels. There was even a mini low time frame inverted head and shoulders here on the 200, so it would have been a good trade for anybody who was watching that, but I don't know. That's just not a trade for me. Ren, again, not a trade for me. It's just sideways nonsense. Crisscross on the MAs on the 12-hour, 5200 over the past couple days, kind of up and down. Arguably AAVE here, so it's trying to print some sort of bullish reversals, but it's just a tough trade for me because it's so messy. Serum had a possibility at bullish reversal. This was arguably a really great diamond bottom type chart pattern, but you can see it never broke above the 200 period moving average really for any long period of time, and now it's back in the doldrums. So again, this is just ranging mess from basically $1 to $1.35. It's kind of just a no trade until it's out of that zone for me. Algo, much like Uni and a few others, continues to print inverted head and shoulders type stuff, and it's hard to be bearish when you see this because you're getting very clearly a series of lows, lower low, and a series of lows with a very obvious horizontal. So I do like higher highs to 50 cents, kind of the previous local top in early 2020. MAs are about to flip bullish as well on the 5200 on the daily, but really I'd just be watching this neckline. Again, it's like a stop limit situation at 35, 36 cents, whatever that level is for a breakout trade to the long side. Band, ugh, this hurts. I bought Band the other day and it broke down. I should be out of it, but I'm still in it. This doesn't look good at all. It's not bullish any way you try to measure it. It's below the cloud. The chart pattern obviously failed. At this point, it's below any of the previous lows. Really my best hope is for some sort of recovery into the cloud over the next few months, but realistically, if this breaks lower lows again, I'm probably out of it for good. Yeah, not bullish at all. DOT, quite the turn of events for DOT. So maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was talking about this cup and handle situation that kind of fizzled out. And then over the course of last week, it completed this head and shoulders again, inverted head and shoulders that we're seeing across most of DeFi right now. And it not only hit its 1618, it hit its 2618 of that move, and is ready for the 3618. at $8. Arguably though, you know, it looks like it's hitting the 1618 of this, whatever high to low was. Call it whatever you want, cup and handle, I don't care. But it's acknowledging that level right now, and it's beyond the inverted head and shoulders levels. In any case, all this looks good for up. I don't know how much more. I like $8. That's not really a massive trade from here, but this is the reason why you watch charts like this and patterns like this. Oh, by the way, the 5200 was cross bullish the whole time as well, to tell you it's time to pay attention. So, you know, again, if you're breakout trading any of these patterns, you're good to go. Kava, much like Band, more bearish than Band, broke sort of multi-month lows here. It looks like it's headed back to $1, where all the volume is to start with in 2019, and where all the volume ended up being historically. And if that doesn't hold, it's 50 cents. But this doesn't look good. Bearish 5200 cross below the cloud. Same song and dance. Looks great if you're bearish. 6 hour Sushi talked about the possibility of a rising wedge 2 weeks ago. That looks like it's sort of trying to break down. Hasn't yet. Again, there was a bearish div on RSI. That's really my favorite thing to trade, when there's a pattern plus a div that's over multiple days. In this case, a month. It looked really good for complete bearish breakdown. Hasn't quite happened yet, but this is obviously a giant mess. Just straight sideways at around 250. So if 250 doesn't hold, it's 130, and if 130 doesn't hold, it's 65 cents. That isn't the expectation. That's just sort of a wait and see, but definitely not a long trade there for me. BZRX has morphed into this nasty looking falling wedge situation. Now SNX had a falling wedge that sort of puked out the bottom, then reversed. That's certainly very possible for BZRX here, back to 11, 12 cents. Just like a massive washout wick. You can see volume has just been rather subdued over the past few weeks. So it would be great to see the washout, to see someone just throw up their hands and say, all right, I'm selling, I don't care, I've lost all this, blah, blah, blah. That's what you want to see when you know that the bottom is in. It's sad when it happens for that person, obviously, but that's part of what happens when a bottom is formed. You know, you get a massive washout of somebody. BNT looks pretty much done, probably for 3 to 6 months. It had the inverted head and shoulders, nasty pattern, really messy. You know, it just kept trying to print inverted head and shoulders, and finally one worked out, and it happened to be the edge-to-edge move into the cloud. So when you get your move like this, you know, to me, that's not like a trade I'm just waiting to jump back into, much like DOT. You know, the move has happened, it's over, I missed it, look for something else somewhere else, because there's just better setups to trade. Lastly, RSR, someone was asking for this one in the previous video. I don't feel bullish or bearish on this either way. It just looks pretty neutral. It's above the 200, just barely. It's above the cloud, just barely. It's heavily ranging. I don't really see any patterns here or anything. Just a ranging mess. So if I missed anything you'd like me to talk about in the next video, let me know in the comments below, and happy trading.